Man, oh man, Tears of the Kingdom is an absolutely massive game, and it's selling an absolutely massive amount of copies as a result. Now, just quick word of warning, this video will have no footage, it'll just be trailer footage, because I don't want to spoil literally anything for you guys about this game, because the game is so fun, and I want you guys to be able to experience that stuff on your own. And also, I'm not even far into the game at all. I haven't done much of the story stuff at all. I've kind of just been running around on my horse killing random new enemies. Anyway, since Tears of the Kingdom came out a couple days ago, we can look at the game's opening weekend sales data. Now, this is just going to be a fraction of the copies it sold. First of all, this is only in the UK, and while Zelda is pretty big everywhere, it's definitely biggest, as with most Nintendo games, in Japan and America. On top of that, these UK sales are not going to include any digital copies. This is just in-store purchases. So obviously it reached the top of the charts for the week, beating out Hogwarts Legacy, which was previously at number 1. And also, side note, the original Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild jumped up all the way from 19th overall last week to 8th overall this week, cracking the top 10. Obviously that makes sense. People want to play the prequel before they play the main game of Tears of the Kingdom. But I'm gonna be honest, going back to Breath of the Wild after playing Tears of the Kingdom makes the game feel like a tech demo. Breath of the Wild is one of the biggest games ever, but again, it feels like a tech demo after seeing what they made in Tears of the Kingdom. It's just so much more expansive. Regardless, Tears of the Kingdom has now in the UK already sold more than The Wind Waker and Skyward Sword as well, making it already the 8th best-selling Legend of Zelda game, which is funny because, again, it's been out for a couple of days. It also had the biggest launch for any Zelda game, beating out its predecessor, Breath of the Wild. But more importantly, let's look at how it does in comparison to other Nintendo UK launches. This isn't just the Legend of Zelda franchise, it's every Nintendo game. Well, in terms of sales, it's coming in 4th all time, behind Pokemon Sun and Moon at number 1, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at number 2, and then Wii Fit Plus Balance Board at number 3. Which is crazy to me because it means that the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in the UK for physical sales had a better launch than any Mario game ever. Any Mario Kart, any Smash Bros. The list goes on. The only thing that beat it is Wii Fit and Pokemon. However, you guys all know that Tears of the Kingdom is more expensive than your average Nintendo game. Because of that, if you actually look at the week 1 revenue, it comes in at number 2, only behind the Wii Fit Plus Balance Board, which obviously makes sense because I'm assuming, considering it had the whole balance board in it, that package retailed for a lot more. So revenue-wise, it makes sense that it's at number 1 because, again, they made more money from it. But in terms of just games, no accessories or anything else, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom had the most profitable launch for any Nintendo UK game. It beat Scarlet and Violet, the only other competitor also on the Switch. It beat Sun and Moon on the 3DS. Any other Nintendo game you can think of, again, besides Wii Fit plus the balance board, Tears of the Kingdom beat. It was more profitable than all those. That is absolutely insane. Another thing you could point out here is that the Pokemon games are kind of cheating to even get on this list in the first place. I mean, Scarlet and Violet technically sold more units, meaning that Tears of the Kingdom didn't have the single biggest Switch launch in the UK. It remains to be seen once the rest of the numbers come out if it'll have the biggest Switch launch. But regardless, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet counts both the games Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. And obviously there are probably a lot of people who bought both games, like the collectors and all the, all those guys, all the tryhards who want to get all the region exclusives and whatnot. So it's not a direct one-to-one comparison. And if you're just looking at one game, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom sold the most, because it probably sold more than Pokemon Scarlet did or than Pokemon Violet did if you separate the two. Anyway, this is just an absolutely insane update that I wanted to let you guys know. Tears of the Kingdom is doing phenomenally. Again, we only have UK sales data for now, but once Nintendo releases a press release with all the other incredible sales figures, I'll make sure to update you here on Switch.Plus, so hit the subscribe button if you haven't already.